Stephanie White. Stephanie White, you tried it. You tried it. Karl Smesko he had his senses. He came out and talked about, yo, we just couldn't stop Caitlin.
The Indiana Fever secured a crucial and hard-fought victory on the court, but the real fireworks began after the final buzzer sounded when post-game press conferences exposed a fascinating contrast in perspectives between opposing coaches. Opposition head coach Karl Smesko delivered an amazingly candid and respectful admission regarding generational superstar Caitlin Clark, openly confessing to credentialed reporters that the dynamic point guard is virtually impossible to defend when she gets into her offensive flow. However, while the rival coaching staff openly acknowledged Clark's unstoppable playmaking and scoring brilliance,
yeah, I thought they were both terrific. Kelsey struggled from the floor in the first half, and she found it in the second half. I think that's part of her growth is just knowing to stay with it, that it's going to come.
Wait a minute. She struggled in the first half and got back.
Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White raised eyebrows across the media room by attempting to redirect praise toward veteran guard Kelsey Mitchell despite an inefficient shooting night. This strange post-game narrative has sparked intense discussion among basketball analysts who argue that the coaching staff continues to underappreciate the historical weight Caitlin Clark is carrying on her shoulders every single night. To fully understand why opposing coaches are throwing
annoying and become like a nuisance to the team, in my opinion, at this point. And Stephanie White's going to try to credit Kelsey Mitchell when Kelsey just didn't play well. She made a couple good shots down the stretch, but overall, the girl just didn't play well. 9 for 22 to score 20 points. We shouldn't be talking about how good she played in the post game. This is about Caitlin Clark and Makayla Timpson. Let's keep it real. Check this out before we get to the locker room when somebody must have pulled her aside and
their hands in total frustration. One must look closely at how rival defensive schemes are failing to contain Caitlin Clark's impact. During the post-game media availability, Karl Smesko spoke extensively about the immense challenge his perimeter defenders faced when attempting to slow down Indiana primary floor general. Star defender Alice
of weathering storms and runs, that is playoff basketball, right? The micro adjustments that we're going to have to make, KK, we throwing you in a whole bunch of...
Okay, KK, well deserved. Well deserved, KK. Love what you doing out there. Love what you doing out there. Outplayed.
Gray was assigned the daunting task of guarding Clark for the majority of the contest, working tirelessly on both ends of the floor to fight through physical screens and contest deep perimeter shots. Despite Gray's heroic defensive effort and aggressive play, Smesko admitted without hesitation that guarding Clark over 40 minutes of intense basketball is simply an overwhelming burden. Smesko praised Gray's competitive spirit while acknowledging that Clark's unique combination of court vision, rapid pull-up shooting, and relentless transition pace places constant pressure on.
Again, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? She was getting baked on defense by Alicia Gray. She was getting destroyed. What do we like? Come on, Stephanie White. Come on, man. This is about Caitlin Clark and Makayla Timpson. Give Caitlin Clark
an entire defensive unit. Hearing an opposing head coach publicly admit that no single defender or scheme can disrupt Clark's performance speaks volumes about her growing stature as an elite global icon in professional sports. While opposition leaders were busy giving credit where credit was due, Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White took a surprisingly defensive approach at the podium that left many broadcast commentators baffled. During her opening press conference remarks, White made a deliberate effort to highlight Kelsey Mitchell's perseverance, pointing out that Mitchell overcame early shooting struggles in the first half to make timely shots down the stretch. But a closer examination of the statistical breakdown reveals why fans found this post-game narrative so frustrating to hear. Mitchell struggled significantly with efficiency, converting just 9 of her 22 field goal attempts while forcing multiple contested shots to preserve an ongoing scoring streak. Meanwhile, it was Caitlin Clark.
Nearly 4 rebounds on 50% shooting, 41 from 3 and 87 from the free throw line. Caitlin Clark is putting the team on her back. Stephanie White, you need to recognize it.
Clark, who completely put the roster on her back during a critical third-quarter surge, pouring in 12 points during that period alone to prevent the game from spiraling out of control. Rather than centering her post-game praise around Clark's elite playmaking and game-saving performance, White seemed determined to elevate Mitchell, creating an uncomfortable disconnect between what transpired on the hardwood and what was spoken at the microphone. Fortunately for locker room morale, the atmosphere behind closed doors appeared far more grounded in reality after team officials and staff members presumably reminded the head coaching staff of who truly carried the squad to victory.
Trying to match and trying to do what she could do, but it's a lot. It's a lot. That's what Karl Smesko came out and said. We're going to get to him. Stephanie White tried to make this thing about Kelsey Mitchell at the podium. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Somebody must have got to you before you got to that locker room. And when that camera was on, they said, hey, man, you better talk about Caitlin. I don't know what you talking about. Somebody had to talk.
During her post-game locker room address to the players, White shifted her focus towards celebrating the team defensive discipline down the stretch. Indiana delivered an exceptional defensive performance in the second half, holding their opponents to just 9 total points during the final period and completely shutting down transition opportunities by allowing 0 fast break points. The coaching staff rightfully presented a well-deserved game ball to emerging frontcourt defender Mikayla Timpson, affectionately known as...
That was a big one for us. Great job.
That was a big win. That certainly was a big win for the Indiana Fever. Much needed. Much needed. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is you don't got to squeeze Kelsey and everything. It wasn't her night. This was about Caitlin Clark and Mikayla Timpson. Let's keep it real. And Angel
double K by her teammates, who delivered outstanding interior rim protection and outplayed rival forward Angel Reese in crucial late-game possessions. Celebrating Timpson's physical presence and defensive energy was a high point for the squad, demonstrating that when defensive intensity aligns with Clark's transcendent offensive leadership, this roster is capable of beating anyone in the league. Beyond the tactical adjustments and press conference drama, the broader story defining this season is Kate.
Okay, let's not do that. Now, this is her in the locker room. Somebody must have pulled her aside and said, hey, don't try to make this about Kelsey. Because watch the tone check. Watch this. And she still didn't even really want to do it seemed like. Let me go to this, man.
That was a hell of a job in the second half, but especially in the fourth quarter. 17-9.
Caitlin Clark's historic individual brilliance and her undeniable standing in the league premier award race. Over her past 11 consecutive outings, Clark has produced mind-boggling statistical numbers that no other perimeter player in professional basketball can match. She is averaging 26 points, nearly 10 assists, and 4 rebounds per contest while shooting 50%.
It was 9 for 22. She was like 1 for 4 in overtime. What are you talking about?
He struggled from the floor. Yeah, I thought they were both terrific.
From the field, 41% from three-point range, and 87% from the free throw line. These are not merely good numbers for a young player, these are elite, historically unprecedented figures that firmly cement her status as a legitimate front-runner for the Most Valuable Player award. Clark's ability to elevate her teammates while maintaining extraordinary efficiency under intense defensive pressure proves that she is the single most impactful floor general in modern women's basketball. As the regular season nears its conclusion and playoff seeding implications become paramount, the Indiana Fever coaching staff must fully embrace the reality of
Stephanie White. And we all know the third quarter, Caitlin Clark had to carry this team. Without Caitlin Clark, this team would have been getting blown out. Caitlin Clark scored 12 of her 26 in the third quarter alone, okay, as the Indiana...
their tactical strengths. Attempting to force secondary scoring narratives or equalize praise when a generational superstar is carrying the entire franchise is counterproductive to long-term success. The path forward for Stephanie White and her staff is crystal clear: put the ball completely in Caitlin Clark's hands, allow her to dictate the tempo as the undisputed maestro of the offense, and trust her elite decision-making to guide the team deep into the postseason. When the coaching staff stops overcomplicating
shots, she's not getting bogged down on one side. She's not getting bogged down, trying to create something. She's allowing the game to
rotation patterns and lets Clark cook without restrictive constraints. The results on the scoreboard speak for themselves. Now we want to hear from all of you passionate basketball followers across the nation. Do you agree that opposing head coach Karl Smesko gave Caitlin Clark the exact level of respect she deserves? Or do you think Coach Stephanie White was wrong to emphasize Kelsey Mitchell's performance after such an inefficient shooting night? How impressive has Clark's 11-game run been as she continues to surge in the Most Valuable Player conversation? Sound off with your detailed thoughts and analysis in the comments section below. Do not forget to hit the like button, share this video across all your social media platforms, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a single moment of our daily unfiltered sports coverage.